Norm Winski. I'm making you the presenter now. Looking forward to hearing your voice and
Who's that?
if you could, I could hear you, Norm. Looking forward to seeing your screen. You hit the screen share.
What's this gray box here? Show my screen. Should I click on that?
There you go.
And if you have more than one screen, Norm, you can select the drop-down menu and choose which screen you want to share. If you only have one screen, just press show.
I'll be happy if I can show one screen. You know.
You are. You are. So Norm, let me introduce you to our FACE community. And everybody, this is Norm Winski. I've been interviewing Norm for, I don't know, what would you say, Norm, 3 years or so, something like that on it. You know, usually we come in every month or so. And I've always been attracted, you know, call me a lunatic. You know, just for some crazy reason, when I was younger, I used to follow the markets and the moon and was always interested in astronomy as a kid. So when I would read people that would use astronomics for forecasting and trading financial markets, it was always so interesting to me. And Norm's one of the best. He's also a very good teacher, and I'd recommend him. I don't bring anyone on here that I think is a charlatan. I've seen Norm call many turns, and I'm ready to hand it over to you. I know that the March 8th time window was important to you. The week following, it's important to you. So welcome to our community, Norm, and the mic is yours.
Thank you very much, Dale. Just to give you a little background for the folks who don't know me, I've been studying. I started studying the stock market when I was 15. I'm now 66. Right out of college, in 1975, I bought a membership on the fledgling Chicago Board Options Exchange. At the time, I was a market maker down there for 12 years. Also traded on the Board of Trade for a while. So there we go. I have a little experience. And so along the way there, what's that again?
A little bit, yeah. I'd say 4 decades, five decades if you count when you were 15.
There you go.
Why don't you tell us when you first started looking at planets for cues to make speculative bets?
Okay, well, that was while I was in college. I had a small inheritance and had some money, and I stumbled on an astrology book, and I've always sort of natural-born people, interested in observing people's behavior and mass psychology and that sort of thing, and I stumbled on an astrology book, and I was in college and took it back to the dorm and tried it on my friends, and they were all going, "How did you know that?" So I got impressed with I thought it was good for a joke. I thought it would be good for a laugh. Turned out the laugh was on me because that was 1970, and this is 2017, and so now I have 3,000 astrology books, including I own Evangeline Adams, including Evangeline Adams' library. She was the astrologer to J.P. Morgan.
Wow.
So yeah.
I didn't even know he had one.
What's that?
I didn't know he had one.
Right. Oh, yeah. If you go to the Morgan Library there, the ceiling is Zodiac.
Okay. Because, he used to make those big bond bets during the Civil War, didn't he? That, talking history, where he would get messages from the front lines, probably was consulting as astrologer too, but.
Well, this is much later now. This is much, maybe that was his father or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, go ahead.
This is early 20th century stuff,
Okay. All right.
He attributed Evangeline Adams with helping to make hundreds of millions of dollars back then. So that was in the early 20th century money,
Okay, how do we make thousands upon thousands?
No. Very well. Yep. Okay. Yeah. By the way, how much time do we have, Dale?
You have 25. Just as long as you need. How about that?
All right. Well, you started to say 25. I think I can do it in less than 25, but
okay. Go ahead.
All right. So anyway, I've been publishing a market letter since 1978, and I do planetary cycles and You know, that's why I decided to go to, right out of college, go to Chicago and buy a seat, because I'd been doing some investing and I did quite well based on the planetary cycles forecasting the market. You know, and so I kept on studying. Once I got to Chicago, I stumbled on studying W.D. Gann and other cycles, Fibonacci. I know all advanced Fibonacci and all this stuff, and so put it together, and I've been evolving for all these years, you know. And so now this is right out of my monthly letter, which was published on Sunday night, June the 5th. I added they took the first 2 days of June and tacked them onto the end of the May letter, so that's why you're not seeing those. And so we're going to go here. I'll show you the dates. I would, you know, Dale is so popular, I couldn't get on the show earlier, so otherwise I would have showed you this stuff in advance. So the first big window for big planet, this was a huge week from the end of the first week of June, right around the 8th to the 9th, till right now. We had the planets were having a big convention. There was huge stuff almost every day. So we had a lot of stuff going on. Now let me tell you a few principles that we're going to be talking about. We are here on the big blue marble called the Earth, where all the planets are going around the sun, but we're all going around the sun in different speeds. So there's some phenomena that are Earth-based, that's geocentric, and that's due to the relative motion of the Earth to the other planets. There's something called a station point. That is, as you look, if you were to plot the planets nightly, you would notice that because we are here on Earth, it appears, that's the key word, it appears that every now and then, individually speaking, a planet will stop its motion and then reverse its direction. That's called a station point, and it only is stationary, appears stationary for a short time, and then it turns. So there's two kinds of station points. One is stationary direct, that's when it stops to go forward, and stationary retrograde when it stops to go backwards. Let me just explain it so you can understand it in real life terms. So if you're driving your car and you're doing 60, and you look at your speedometer, it says you're doing 60. Intellectually, you know you're doing 60, but you look out your side window, somebody's passing you, they're doing 70. You might get the impression that you're going backwards by 10 miles an hour. Einstein talked about this, told a story about being on a train in a train station. His train's not moving. He looks out the window, and all of a sudden he has the sensation that he's going backwards. That's because the train next to him was pulling out of the station. So that's what's happening here with the planets from the point of view of the Earth. It's all relative. Einstein talked about it. We know physically the planets are not doing that, but still there's a certain amount of physics involved, as Einstein would tell you, because it's important, our relative position to these other bodies. So when the planets change trend, the markets change trend. I will now demonstrate that. So on the morning of the 9th, that's AC, by the way, is my language for telling you something's happening after the close of that day. For example, if I see a 6-8 after the close, that means it's happening overnight, perhaps before the opening the next day. So just before the New York opening for the stock market, we had a full moon, and here's another combination of cycles. And about every 7 months, the full moon or new moon lines up with another lunar cycle called apogee or perigee. The moon is going around the Earth, but it's not in a perfect circle. Therefore, it's somewhat elliptical, and so therefore there's a point at which the moon is either closest or farthest from the Earth in its monthly cycle. And so this is a separate cycle from the full moon, new moon cycle. And these line up though about every, it'd be, you get one or the other every 7 months, or the exact repeat every 14 months. So we had, so there's a special full moon. We had apogee is if it's it's a far. And so a full moon apogee, and it was within maybe 20, 30 minutes of Jupiter turning direct in the sign Libra. So that tells me, because it's in the sign Libra, that's important for sugar, which is Libra. And the stocks respond to everything. The commodities are narrow filters that tend to respond only to a few things. But the stock market is the big basket of everything. So we had sugar, stocks, and wheat. Let's go look at those markets. Right now, here's your sugar. We also had another big point for sugar and wheat on Monday. The 9th was a Friday, and Monday was the 12th. On the 12th, we also had Venus, which is the planet associated with Libra, was going apohelion. Helion is the sun. Again, A is afar, so Venus was at as far as this point as it goes around the sun. So Friday, Monday was a big double window for sugar and wheat. So let's look at those markets now, and also possibly the stock market. So let's look at their sugar. There's a 30-minute. Can you see that okay, Dale? Can you see the chart?
Yeah, it's very clear.
Okay, there's your sugar chart there, and you can see the box tells you that at 7:30 in the morning on the 12th, the sugar topped out and then started going down. And you could just draw simple trend lines there, channel lines, and we were looking for this window here for a topping type action, you know, because it had been going up. So we're just looking for a change of trend, real simple stuff, you know.
Nice.
Once you know the right time, then it's not that hard to figure out, watch the prices there. When they get to an extreme at the top of the channel or the bottom of the channel, there's a good chance for a reversal. Mr. Gann said, if you're familiar with Mr. Gann, he said time was more important than price. Price is totally relative to time. You don't know whether a price is high or low unless you put it in the context of time.
Yeah, love
Here's
that
your
guy.
wheat. Here's your wheat. What's that?
I love that guy.
There you go.
I was telling Blake earlier, I have on my desk again saying, if you don't learn how to change your mind, you won't have any change left.
But hey, that's a good one. Mr. Gann, I believe his birthday, I think, was near your birthday.
Oh, a Gemini? Huh.
Yes, sir.
So the Geminis have no problem being long or short because there's a couple.
They're very flexible.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, buddy.
They can turn on a dime, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Except they're also very loyal.
Turn on a dime and give you change too, right? All right, here you go. So the wheat responded to the both points. See, we had 2 points here, the two sugar or wheat points, and so the sugar sort of bunched them together and took, combined it into one, whereas the wheat kind of split it up. And here you have the wheat here topping on the in the morning of the 9th. Then it dropped to the morning of the 12th, and then we have a point later on we're going to look at too. There's a nice reversal in the grains here just a day or two ago, but we're getting ahead of myself here now. So
we'll go
back here now.
That wheat scalp was 20 cents. That was a grand a contract both ways.
Right. I got that in. I don't know if you saw that in my notes or not, but
yeah,
take a mention of that. All right. Next we have Jupiter is lining up in Libra again. Jupiter's in Libra, and it's lining up with Neptune. That's oil. So we want to look at oil, and also, like I said, we'll get to the stock market chart in a minute. Let's see what chart I have next on here. There's your oil, August crude oil. And you can see here that we have the morning of the 12th. That point I just gave you was after the close of the 9th. That's a Friday, so over the weekend of the 9th. And so guess what, right? Early in the morning before the regular day session, you have crude oil topping out at 7 in the morning, and there's a nice top there on the crude oil. See that?
Yeah, that was a big.
You had this little trend line off of these two little tops there. If you projected that out, bang, it's when it hit that right there in our time window. Is when it topped. Okay.
Nice.
Let's see. Now moving ahead here. Let's see. We did the Venus thing for sugar and wheat. Let's move up now to, I think the next thing we're going to look at is the, we have the moon's north though. That's a lunar cycle, an 18.6 year cycle going through the zodiac in reverse order. Each sign is 18.61 months. You like fractals, Dale? And
yeah.
It takes 18.61 days to go 1 degree. So we've got repeating mathematics there, on the digits. So the moon's north node, it's in Leo, that's corn and gold. And then we have, it's Uranus, that's copper. That's the corn, and in Leo, we have corn and gold, right?
How did you figure out which planet affects each instrument?
I kind of stumbled onto this, and that's I give that away in my free class. You should come and do my class sometime. But I'll give you a clue though. It's first grade logic. I mean literally.
Huh.
Okay. So maybe for example, you've heard of Taurus the bull, right?
Right.
Maybe that has something to do with a commodity,
Okay. Interesting.
The commodity has to do with bulls,
Okay.
So if you try to think this at a sophisticated level, you'll never get it. you think about it like a first grader would think about it, you might get the answers. Okay.
Simplicity. Yeah. Okay.
Let's go look at some charts. So there's your crude oil. Next we have the stock market. We'll be probably coming back to this, but right there, you were just talking about, I forgot the guy's name, Steve, right? Steve?
Yeah. Yeah.
You were talking about Steve about the NASDAQ. Well, there you go. I have this in advance that we should have a big change in trend the morning of the 9th because Jupiter is going direct right on top of a full moon. And there you go. Your three major stock indices, the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and NASDAQ composite. And I think, I don't know which one you watch. I usually mostly watch NASDAQ composite. Sounds like you might be looking at the NASDAQ 100. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's the highest beta one anyway. Yeah.
Okay. And so they all made new all-time highs right there, right on the opening. And I think that maybe it lasted, hung up there for about an hour or so. We have 1030 there. I think, oh yeah, there you go. 1030 was the high for the S&P 500. That's still the all-time high so far. And that was the top. And then, you know, the NASDAQ that they had kind of a meltdown, you know, so, and they not only had a turn in the markets there, as I think you might have been alluding to earlier, we also had a big shift in the risk pendulum, where the big money managers apparently all decide they don't want to be in such risky, overinflated stocks, and they have moved now to the more, old-fashioned sort of blue chip kind of stock. They're favoring the Dow Jones, and you can see the risk, how they're, operating here, favoring more Dow Jones end of the risk scale versus the NASDAQ,
Okay.
Well, that was Jupiter. Jupiter did its thing there, and it had a big effect on the stock market. Let's see, where are we at now? Oh, here's that Moon's North Node, 120 the Uranus there, right there. There's that nice top there. We also had something right next to that on that was the 14th, early on the morning on the 14th, and there's the 15th. And when we topped out, we're going to get to that. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here on that. And let's go back here to our list again. There's the 13th after the close, so the end of the next morning, the 14th, we had the corn. Oh, we got to look at the corn, copper. We're going to skip over the stocks now for a minute, and we'll go look at these others. Here's copper. Made a nice little rebound top there right on the 14th. Okay. Here's your silver. Look at that. A nice spike high there right on the 14th. They all made tops on the 14th, and you probably know that the gold did the same thing a few hours later. Right there it is at 1:50 p.m. on the 14th. Okay. And you can see these charts okay, right, Dale?
Yes.
All right, I'll make the screen a little bigger. I forgot to do that. There we go. Get rid of the toolbar, All right, now we're going back here to, how many people do you have listening to this, if you don't mind I ask you?
Hundreds.
Hundreds. Okay, well, hello, folks. All right, my other next big point is the 14th after the close was Mercury at 0 north latitude. What is that? Well, as the planets are going around the sun, think of a carousel with the horses going around and around. The horses not only go around and around, but they also go up and down, and that's what the planets do. They actually oscillate a little bit up and down from their highway called the ecliptic. So they travel a little bit above, a little bit below, and when they travel going up, like the horses going up, when they get to their actual highway, the middle there, if they're going up, that's 0 latitude, and if they're going up, that's called 0 north latitude. If they're going down and across the highway, then it's 0 south latitude. Mercury did that on the night of the 14th, and we're looking for a change in trend for grains and stocks. All right, and we'll zip by there now, and here's your S&P top here, right when Mercury, that was the other night when overnight, the S&P had a pretty good drop there, about 15, 16 handles. Remember that, Dale?
Yeah, when they said Trump was going to be probed.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess it was time for his annual checkup or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and a little joke there, Dale. Okay, and and there you go. So Mercury went 0 latitude, and the market topped out right there. And then we had the nice sell-off there, And let's go look at the other market that I mentioned. That was the grains. Here we go. Wheat. We got to look. No, corn. Where's my corn chart? Corn. We're going to look at corn, I think. Did we look at corn? There we go. There's corn. Oh, here we go. Yeah. There's the 14th right there. You see where you can see my hand pointing there?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. They made a nice stop in the corn there at 385. Okay, that was on the 5 in the morning on the 14th. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
you told me
and
that
oh no,
the
the 50,
grains were
oh, was that?
trading
I'm
in,
sorry.
you were telling me the grains were really trading in sync with the moon recently.
Oh yeah, well you want to I always say if you don't want to use your brains, trade the grains. I think they're about the easiest
I
markets
like
there
that.
are.
I
Yeah,
like it.
because you
Yeah.
just go. All you got to do is go look at it. You can make money just look at the full moon, new moon. The grains I'd say works 80% of the time. Turn on a new moon or full moon. Now I got some more sophisticated cycles here that you can use to make it even better. I just kind of made a mistake here. That was our earlier point, but the point we want to look at right now was after the close of the 14th. And so that's that low right there. That would happen at 9:30 in the morning. All the grains turned right about that time within 5 or 10 minutes. And then they had a huge rally. As you mentioned, the wheat, we'll be looking at that also in a minute. And that was, see, that's back here at the beginning of this thing here. Let's see, here's your wheat here. There's your wheat turn right there on the morning of the 15th. And that, as you mentioned, that's a more than a 20-cent move. That's over $1,000. Just in a very short amount of time. All right, we got Mercury. There's your grains and stocks. It worked for the stock market. It worked, as you saw, wheat and corn both turned on that. Here's a thing here on the night of the 14th. So within all these things I allow one trading day, or I'm wrong. Uranus made a 90-degree angle to Pluto based on, there's something called a natal chart. We take a snapshot of the planets at when you were born or when some important thing began, like the July the 4th, 1776 was the beginning of the USA. And so we take a snapshot of where the planets are on that day and use that and then look at the planets now and compare. So on the night of the 14th, we had Uranus forming a 90-degree angle to the U.S. Pluto, where it was on July the 4th, 1776, and that's what I interpreted that as being a very negative cycle for the U.S. And what happened there, we had a couple things happen that morning. We had the congressman getting shot, and we also had the low for the dollar, right?
Yeah.
And so there we go. Change of trend, stocks, T-bonds, and the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
Moving on ahead now, the next thing we're going to look at is after the close of the 15th, Neptune, that was the last night. Neptune turns retrograde, so we need to look at our crude oil and stocks. Let's see, the crude oil I have here, right there. And so we're looking for a low here because it's been going down, down, down. Okay, I think we're going to get a low here. I don't know what it's doing right now. I haven't looked at my screen here lately, but all these charts are as of last night. And so it looks to me like we might be putting in a low here. But here's the thing. The Neptune is said to be the ruling planet for crude oil, and it's turning retrograde. When the ruling planet of a commodity goes retrograde, it tends to have a general negative influence. However, the one exception to that is if we have a big down into that point, then you are likely to you could get a bounce. So that's what I think we're going to get here. We're going to get a bounce.
So yeah, so the cycle inverted.
Well, I think there's a twofold thing. I think short term you can get a bounce, but I think eventually this thing will roll over and go down, and it'll probably take this low out.
Okay.
Okay, if you look at the bigger picture, I'm very usually short-term oriented, but there is a bigger picture influences here that when there's certain phenomena, like I just said, when the planet goes retrograde, you can get a bounce for maybe a week or two or less, and before you know it, then it's probably going to take that low out. That makes the fact that if you go back and look at every June the last several years, almost every June the crude oil is making a top and going down through the summer. And it's always near when Neptune turned retrograde.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's go back to our list again. And where are we at now? Neptune turned retrograde. That's the stock market. So I was looking for some kind of turn in the stock market here. And then we also have, that gets us to the end of the list, which is Saturday, tomorrow. A very interesting Gann point, Dale. And that, Gann loves square numbers, and they particularly like the odd square numbers. How about if we combine Fibonacci with that? And so we have 55, that's a Fibonacci number, square days. 55 times 55 is 3,025 days from the March 6th 2009 stock market low. That'll be Saturday.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so we'll have to see how the stock market closes today. And so that's pretty much, I think, most of my presentation. Let's see. Let me.
Okay, so on the
I added some stuff on here just for you, Dale. We
Okay.
got a bonus here. We got some currency stuff. There you go, because I knew you'd want to have some currencies.
Okay.
So these were not on my radar, because you can see that other than coming up here over the weekend, and they were really pretty sleepy. This is my little my calendar that I have in my letter, which tells you when and where things are going to happen. It tells you, look, here's an important date, and it tells you what market to look at. So we have two things happening in somewhat important here over the weekend. There's the 9th, there's the 12th. Each column is a trading day. Each column is subdivided into 3 parts. But when you're on the line, you're on the borderline in between those days. So over the weekend, we had the Aussie dollar popping up. I had, based on late May, change in trend. When I did this letter, I started on Monday, June the 5th, and so it looked like the Aussie dollar would be very positive, and it's been, the last I looked, it's been going up, right?
Yes.
There's the chart. This is futures. You might be upside down from this. I don't know. Right? This is compared to the dollar, Aussie dollar to the U.S. dollar, right?
Right.
So there you go. The Aussie dollar's been going up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Is a yes.
Just frank, you got a big change of trend, 24 points, a pretty decent change of trend due over the weekend here for Monday. And might whipsaw, chop a bit, because then we have one right next door on the next day, and then looks like we should get a strong trending period here from the 13th to about the 16th. And wait, that was last week. I got my weeks mixed up. Sorry about that. Oh, that was last weekend. Sorry about that. Uh-oh. I messed up. All right. Well, I did this at like 3 in the morning.
You have a big day on the 20th, which is what, Tuesday, 17th, 18th.
Right. Anyway, I got my weeks mixed up. I did this at 4 in the morning, Dale. I was up all night to get this done for you. And so I go look at the charts there and see if that worked out. We're over here, and I thought we were, I was thinking weekend that we have this coming up. So never mind. I messed up. Okay.
Okay. Well, Norm's not on Twitter. So I don't know if you want to show anything else, but this could be a good time for you to tell people how they could reach you.
Absolutely.
If they're interested, and that you have a free course that you teach that's introductory. If they have an interest in learning about the universe and the markets and how they relate to each other.
Because we're all part of the universe, right?
Yeah. We're all one.
That's it. We're all it. We're all all part of this. So all these cycles, we're all part of it. We're part of nature, and so that's why I believe the markets are responding to this stuff very well. I have I think I can show you.
I just have one question and it was your last date of June 17th with the 55 times 55. It's an anniversary of the March 2009 low. Why is 55 times 55 significant?
Because that's a square number. That's how you square numbers.
Okay.
You know that, right?
Okay.
The game was keen on squaring numbers.
You got that, Martin? Okay. All right. Go ahead, Norm.
Just like 3 times 3 is 9. 9 is a square number.
Okay. So you're expecting a low in the stock market? No,
I'm expecting a change in trend over the weekend here.
Okay.
I don't know. I have to see what the market does today. If we rally today, then we've been
we're
down
pretty good, Norm. We're down 10 S&P points. So
all right. Well, if we get looking down, maybe we'll have to see. We could be now. On occasion, these change in trend points turn out to be accelerations. We're kind of locked into a range now on the S&P. We'll go back and look at the S&P chart real quick. And there we go. There's the S&P. You're kind of locked into this range right now. You see, about yesterday we came down and retested the low of the month for June. It was right there, and we came within about $3 there. So we're kind of locked into this range here, there, and there. And so if we were to break that range, that would be a big deal. So that would also be a change in trends, a possibility.
Okay. Thank you, bud. So go ahead. Tell people about the course and how often you hold it. I know you don't do it all the time.
Nope, I just do it. It's individual class. I do it on Skype, one person at a time, and I kind of gear it toward your knowledge level and so forth. And so it's a 5-hour class, and you can get my letter for free. It's a monthly letter and the free 5-hour class. Going to teach you some Astro, Gann, Fibonacci, fractals. It's like a whole college course on trading, all jammed in about 5 hours. And then we follow up. We go tell you how to use the letter, and then you can go practice for a couple of days, and you have questions, and we try to be very thorough and get you a great education, and it's all free. And
Okay,
if they mention, and Dale, if they mention your name, they can get it for free with a money-back guarantee.
Okay. Mention my name. So Norm, I'm glad we were able to get this in, and I want to thank you for your time and sharing your stuff. Next time we'll try and work out a date where, some of these things are happening ahead of time, but looks like you're having a good year this month. So congratulations. And I'm fascinated by your stuff, and I know there are skeptics out there as well, but it's very interesting. And if you want to learn a lot of the masters of this type of trading, they're leaving the planet, aren't they, Norm? There aren't as many. Is there a new generation to take up the mantle of what you're doing?
Well, I think it's kind of one of the downsides of all these computers and trading platforms is that, these people get these platforms, and it's all what I call TV dinner, that they, there's stuff, the Gann lines on there, whatever lines they put on there, and none of these people have any understanding of what it is they're looking at. They just see these lines on there, and they don't really know what it is. If you want to understand,
they don't care. They don't care as long as it makes them money. So that's a great point, is having an understanding of what you're using if you can use it. So I want to thank you. Go ahead.
I just going to say I'm here in Florida, the beautiful Florida, and you can call me. There's my phone number, 239-594-3939, or here's my email, Winski at embarkmail.com, EMBARQMAIL.com, or you can call me on Skype at NORM.WINSKI. So anyway, I'm taking registration now. I'm all booked up for June, but you can be the first in line for July if you call right away.
Okay, buddy.
Only do about 6 or 8 people a month, so call right away. And by the way, just let me just add one more thing, Dale. Okay, this stuff looks complicated on the surface, I know, because it's all, if you're not used to it, it looks like foreign. Are you still there? Something popped up.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Awesome. This stuff looks complicated because it's kind of foreign, but once you get over that, this stuff's really nothing that I'm doing is above a grade school level. If you made it through grade school, you can do this. If it weren't that simple, I couldn't do it. So there you go.
Norm Winski, thank you very much for your initial appearance on Face, and have a great weekend, buddy. Good luck, good hunting the rest of the month, and look forward to your return down the road.
Thank you very much for having me on, Dale. Looking forward to helping some of your folks.
Okay, buddy. Thank you, Norm.
How do I leave here?
You just hey, I'll show my screen. I'll take you off, and I just want to show the screen before I go. We're getting a pop. King Dollar is being tested. I still think there's more left. I think that we're going to have a decent shorting opportunity early into next week in Euro. I want to thank the whole F8 team, my co-anchor Steve Volge, the master trader Blake Morrow, CEO of ForexAnalytix, Nicola Duke, the top talented harmonics person here, and she rounds off our rough edges of all the guys here, and Greg Horvat for his great work, and Stelios. And I want to thank you, Face, for hanging in there, paying attention, and it's our hope that we're adding value to what you're trying to accomplish as a trader. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy your last weekend of spring. Summer's a-coming, and we'll see everyone Monday. And remember, most of all, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Tell the people that you care about and love in your life. Verbalize it. They're not mind readers. Life is fragile. Let the people you know that you love them. I love you guys. Have a great weekend. See you Monday.